What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm BDLM, coming with my buddy J4Y, bringing you this episode number 23 of our Dota on Demand podcast. What is going on, buddy?
Just doing some sign language over here. I was trying to make a 2 and a 3, and believe it or not, it is really difficult to do backwards and not... I don't even know how to do it forwards, so...
Just gang signs, just...
Oh. I forgot that we could use fingers to count with. I was trying to actually make the numbers with my fingers, and it...
You don't keep...
Don't worry, when you rewatch it, you'll see what I'm talking about, and it's pretty baller.
Well,
but enough about my number skills. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing really well. I'm really excited to be doing this episode, because this is an episode all about the fans.
That's right.
It's question time and or quality time, however you'd like to work the abbreviation. And so tonight we loved so many of our questions, and we're going to go over all the questions you guys sent us over the past week to try and win that beta key. I mean, I know you guys came by and liked the Facebook and sent us questions just because you like us. But you know, we're going to give you a beta key too at the end of the episode.
Well, not all of you.
Well, one of you. Every single ever gets a beta key.
I mean,
unfortunately... Go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, just, you know, when we do give it to them, they can share it with the rest of the 30 people, 40 people. That's fine, but...
community account.
You know, that's up to you, purely. That's all.
Yeah, unfortunately, we only had one beta key to give away this time, but we do have some plans in the future to be giving away some more beta keys, so stay tuned, and maybe you'll win the next one if you don't win this one.
I was really hoping I had, like, a thing of keys I could just jingle right now. Like, that would have been... great timing. But alas, yeah, it's pretty exciting stuff, and like I said, this partnership, speaking of which, look on down if you're watching the video, we got our nice little Dota Talk partner, little, what's it called, logo, icon.
There you go.
Metaphorical wisdom. That one didn't make sense.
I don't think that's it.
But don't worry about it. Regardless, there they are with us. So we want to do another shout out to Dota Talk. Thanks a lot for your support and help along this process. Bunch of great guys. Go to www.dotatalk.com. Check out all the news, latest Dota 1, Dota 2 news, what's going on in the scenes. Check out the forums. Post there. We have our own little section. You can comment about whatever you want. Talk about Dota 2 related. We're generally pretty active on there sometimes. We're getting there.
We're generally pretty active sometimes.
No, that's the thing. I mean, it's that active mostly that, you know, it's exciting.
Phrasing.
Just get on there. Just have a good time with us. We like to be fresh and new and naked half the time, so just go for it.
Yeah, definitely come
That's
by
all I have
and
to say.
check us out. Yeah. If you guys have any additional questions you'd like to send, get inspired by the questions being asked this week, you can send us emails and Twitters and stuff. You can actually join us right now in the IRC if you guys are watching live, or next week we will also welcome you there, Pound Dota on Demand. I think it's pretty much the intro. You want to jump into some of these?
Yeah, let's get started. Started. So I guess I'll start with the first one, just because I would love to. That's the only reason I can think of. And this is from our good friend Matthew, who we just met last week. We're good friends now, so it's cool.
He likes us.
He does. He gave us a thumbs up earlier. I was like, that's cool, man. That's cool. So anyways, back to the question at hand. He asked, in Dota 2, would Dazzle's ultimate affect Omni Knight's ultimate at all? And I just want to say, we took a Mythbusters approach. If you've ever watched that TV show or heard about it, basically these two guys with awesome, crazy facial hair, which we unfortunately lack severely in that department, but it's not because we can't. Just throwing it out there. Actually, for me it is. Anyways, they basically, Mythbust generally, it's kind of self-explanatory, but they go after these common myths, and they go and actually test them out and see if they're true or false. And that's exactly what we did before this cast to see if we could do it. So what do you think we came up with there, Johnny?
Well, in the last week, we did years of testing.
Oh, yeah.
And we found out...
extensive years. Oh, it was painstaking research.
Decades, even.
We had to play Dota 2, which was just miserable. Like, oh, gosh.
Yeah, it's terrible. It doesn't, really. Which... I guess makes a lot of sense, because in Dota 1 you were saying, actually, Omni Knight gives everybody around him 1,000 million armor.
It was literally 1,000, yeah.
Yeah, 1,000. And then also gives health regeneration. So if you think you get all that armor, everything is only going to be hitting you for 1 anyway, so you'd have to be attacked 26 times to do any damage at all to somebody. with physical damage. It doesn't actually seem to work like that in Dota 2, but the result is the same. It doesn't really do anything to it. It doesn't allow you to pop somebody on the head and kill them with the ulti up.
Right, like it does. Okay, so it actually does. I mean, it literally puts the buff or debuff on the person. But right, what we're trying to say is that no, it's not going to allow you to harm them during this invulnerability because it's pretty much physical invulnerability, like it says. And unlike Dota, even in Dota 1, it would still affect them. It might, but it would reduce the armor whatever set amount, so like up to 24 or something. But 24, 1,000 minus 24 is still 970 armor or whatever, so you're still hitting them for 1 either way. So yeah, so while you do literally get the buff on you, or debuff rather, yeah, it doesn't actually do a darn thing. So, but then little questions. These are like the little things that you like.
The warm.
We actually like don't even think about at times. Yeah, like the little warm-ups and like just little things here and here. Like kind of like we answered in a previous one about Pudge Hook working on Pugna's Decrepify. Yeah, just like little things like that. You're like, I don't know, and we found out that did as well. So all these cool things. But thanks, Matthew, for the warm-up round. You want to get us into number 2?
Yeah, what's a good counter against a pub Ursa by Mr. Rubin? What are your thoughts on the subject, sir?
Well, I think I've probably made it clear in the few times we've discussed him how I have great disdain for the hero in general. I feel bad for him, especially because his name used to be Fuzzy Wuzzy in Dota 1. So he's like this cute, cuddly little guy that's going to maul your face off, but now he's such a weak hero, unfortunately, and the main reason for that is he has trouble with gap closing and with staying on a target. So he does really high burst damage if he can stay on top of his target, and that's where most carries fall short if they don't have like Anti-Mage's Blink or Faceless Void's Leap or whatever. And so a good counter to that, obviously, then would be to CC him, so as to stun him, slow him. I know these are kind of your answers, but they're definitely speaking true here. And so, I mean, for example, if you're in a lane against him, because most of the time you're going to see him in a 2's lane or something, like him in a support, just get a really good CC'er, like a Vengeful Spirit, a Venomancer, any of these kind of heroes that are going to make sure he can't get anywhere near you guys, so he can't do any damage, really.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about how he's going to be itemizing Blink Dagger is a common one, because like you said, he has problems closing the gap. BKB and Vlad's, of course. So the nice thing is you can pick up like a Beastmaster, somebody who can ult through the BKB and hold him there for at least a couple seconds. That's one way to try and stop him from going crazy. If he is in the jungle, try and put some pressure on him in the jungle. Stop him from being able to just get free farm. Keep Roshan warded so he doesn't get the Aegis and can't just run away with the game in that respect. Another good idea is to buy items for yourself that will help counter the amount of auto attack damage he's doing. So the Blade Mail, the Ghost Scepter, both excellent ways of either decreasing the amount of time he has left on his overpower, giving you some extra time to try and get away, or reflecting back some of the damage that he's doing to try and at least make him pay for doing a large amount of damage to you.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of ways, and that's obviously why you don't see him in the competitive scene. The only reason you might see him in the pub scene is just because a lot of people aren't sure how to handle him or how to deal with them, and it does fall short. And I do like how you point out the Roshan thing. I mean, people don't think about it too often, but when you're playing against him, yeah, by level 8 or 9, he can solo Roshan easily. So you do have to be aware of that, and you don't want to let him do that. So, good points there.
Well, thanks.
That's you're welcome, good sir. I think Ruben, thanks for another brain teaser there. Well, I guess we'll jump into maybe a little more substance, if you will. Wow, this one's actually got a lot more substance. So, basically, this individual named Sumok, or Mjolnir, if we will, asked, will Dota 2 overtake Dota? It's Dota 1. And then, so if it will, how long do you think that process is going to take? So obviously, I mean, do you have some initial... I know you do. What are you thinking about this?
I don't have any thoughts. I think Dota 2 will overtake Dota. And I think it'll probably do it shortly after release. Because you have this thing, I think I mentioned it before, when you had StarCraft 1. StarCraft 2, when the beta came out, it seemed like a lot of the Western groups were just really quick to jump on it right away. to really get ready for this new thing, just start training for that. But the Asian teams waited, and they wanted to play what was still relevant, what was still out, was being played competitively then. So I think by the time Dota 2 comes out, you're going to have another international, and you'll have all these other teams that finally be able to make that transition because the natural progression of it. I mean, I think you're going to just want to play the new version of it, and because Ice Frog is involved in it, and he's helping to make changes and has some kind of control over how the game is being created, I don't think there is much of a reason to stay inside the War 3 engine.
Yeah, it's very limiting, obviously. And, I mean, since they have free reign of this game and doing whatever they please, yeah, I mean, there's no point in confining yourself to that. And he's out, I mean, unless, I don't know, the dealings behind the back, maybe if Blizzard's, like, giving him a side salary to keep the game going, and I don't know. I wouldn't accuse him of such a thing. He's a true gentleman and a scholar.
And a scholar.
That is apparently our phrase. But, yeah, no, I mean, I definitely agree with you. I would have to think it's going to overtake it. And I definitely was harping back also on the StarCraft to StarCraft 2 transition. But the funny thing is, it's never... It will overtake it in popularity and in, like, momentum, but I don't think Dota 1's going to go away anytime soon. Like, it's not going to just fall off. And that, I mean, like, you look, there's still plenty of StarCraft 1 tournaments going on over, like, Korea and other Asian scenes. Counter-Strike 1.6, a shooter game, has been out since like 1994 or something ridiculous. I was like 12 when that came out, and I know I'm not that old, but still, that was a long time ago. And they're still in tournaments. Actually, that's the most popular Counter-Strike, I think, game to date, which is just ridiculous. I mean, how's a game that's been out for over, 18 years, 15 years, this popular? Unbelievable. So I think Dota 1's going to be around still just a very long time, but Dota 2 is definitely going to be the predominant of the two. That's all. So
yeah, I mean, I think you have Valve, who's just an awesome company, and they're going to keep pouring money into prize pools and stuff like that for Dota 2. So I think at some point it's eventually just going to take over at the competitive level. And yeah, I agree with you. I mean, you're always going to have people that are going to be playing the original or whatever. But I think most people will probably wind up transitioning to Dota 2 by release or shortly after.
Indeed. Thank you, Sumak, for your questionnaire. Let's
There
go
you go.
down. Whoop. Okay. Did miss one. You want to read this one off?
I think I can read it. My English is a little weak. But is Force Staff a good starting item compared to rushing Blink Dagger by Donut?
Yeah.
He sounds delicious, let me tell you.
Okay, I'm just going to have to say it now. I have been doing a juice fast this week. And if people don't know what that is, good for you. Don't even research it. Don't look at it. Just turn off the TV if it's on, etc., etc. Basically, I'm drinking vegetables and fruits that are juiced, and that's all I have all day. No solids. And so, of course, it seems like half the people we're answering questions for have food-like names, and it just bothers me. Like, this guy's Donut. He's Donut. He's a freaking donut. I love you, by the way, because I love donuts, so that's a compliment. Then we had Reuben. Reuben's like one of my top 3 sandwiches all time.
There you go.
I don't know. Next guy might be, cheesecake or,
Thomas S'mores.
That'd be a pretty sweet name.
That would be.
Sweet, get it?
Oh!
Anyways.
Now I have names ready for my kids. There you go.
Megatron.
Get over here, S'mores. Yes.
Anyways, back to the question. Yeah, so Force Staff compared to Blink Dagger, I think that's completely dependent. Well, I hate to always say this, but dependent on your situation you're in, but also, more importantly, what hero you're discussing this on. For example, I think Force Staff, first of all, is just plain better for a lot of intellect heroes, obviously, because it does have the Staff of Wizardry in one of its components, but also you have to kind of understand what it can do compared to a Blink Dagger. Force Staff will give you maybe a little bit less distance, or close. It's about the same distance as a Blink Dagger, but you can use it on allies and enemies as well as yourself. So it has more utility in that sense, but at the same time, it does have a longer cooldown than Blink Dagger, and it's just like I said, it's a completely different item. So compared to rushing it, I think it depends on what hero you're playing and what kind of lineup you're against or with. So it's kind of hard to answer just as a there's no general answer for that, you know? I don't know. What do you think?
I think certain heroes, it's absolutely necessary to go one over the other. Like Sand King, for instance. I think you have to get the Blink Dagger because it goes further than the Force Staff. And you need to be able to get in immediately, and you have to be able to stand far enough away that you can channel your ultimate in peace, because even if you do Burrow Strike in, there's still enough time that the person you stun can stun you if it's quick enough. So you have to be able to get that Blink Dagger so that you can get into the fight, do as much damage, get as many pulses off as you possibly can on the enemy team. I mean, heroes like Windrunner, though, I would definitely go for the Force Staff because you're getting damage, attack speed, and then int, which is their primary stat anyway, and which is going to give her more damage. So I think in that situation, it's definitely superior. I mean, the thing is, though, you don't even see a whole lot of rushing of Blink Dagger these days. A lot of people will try and get like the Arcane Boots first. I think probably Sand King is a hero that'll probably get it the fastest, but heroes like Enigma and Tidehunter are actually pushing it off and waiting a little bit. Enigma is generally getting a Mechanism first, and then going for the Blink Dagger to get some more survivability, get some more utility, and then go for the Dagger. So, I think it is, like you were saying, very situationally dependent. There was a game not too long ago where a Rikimaru was picked up against a really squishy team. I wish I could remember the exact match, but 3 Force Staffs were picked up on the team against Rikimaru, and the idea was, if he jumps on somebody squishy and clouds them, they're not going to be able to get out. So hopefully, odds are, we're going to have somebody with a Force Staff in range so we can push them out of the cloud as quickly as possible, so that way they can use their Force Staff if they want to, or just be able to cast something to slow down the Rikimaru. So it's a really good item for controlling the team fights, but I think at the end of the day, it really depends on how quickly do you need to get in. Is it something that where you just need to be mobile, or is it something where moving other people can be important, and stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. So, definitely with you there. Yeah, like Sand King with a Force Staff would be pretty different.
LOLs?
I don't. I mean, it would work, but it wouldn't. It would just be different. And why would you want that much? Why would you want attack speed and that much int? That's a little off.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, like, the int is useful in a lot of heroes, right? I mean, I could see Force Staff on Tide. I still think that would be a little weird, but I could see it. I mean, I honestly don't think on a hero like Tidehunter that you really even need anything, to be honest. I mean, if you have a reason to not go Arcane Boots, like, I'd probably just go Tranquil Boots and just say that movement speed's enough, because the area of the ultimate is so big. You're not really strapped for time. Like, you don't have to worry about being in the absolute perfect position like you do on SK, for instance. I mean, you need to be able to blink in right to the middle of everybody to get off that perfect Burrow Strike, where Tidehunter is a little bit more forgiving.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you. So, no arguments actually for first probably time in a while. I don't actually have anything to disagree with you about all that.
What kind of, other than Windrunner, do you have any heroes that you really like the Force Staff on?
I like on Pudge a lot, although we don't see Pudge very often. I'm a huge fan of the Force Staff Pudge, just because I like giving him a little bit more mana. Attack speed's a little overkill, but the point is you can Force Staff really quick and then get in range of that hook, and then hook them right away. You can go up and down terrain with the Force Staff, and just I don't know. I find it seems pretty practical and useful on him, as well as possibly Force Staffing an enemy up a hill if they're facing towards you. Like, there's just I don't know. I found it to actually be pretty useful, and I've seen it a lot actually. When there were pros that played Pudge, they seemed to go that definitely over any kind of like blink or anything. They just preferred to go straight up for that. Oh, and blink does work on him. Don't get me wrong. You can blink and then use his ultimate, eat someone up, and then hook them. But both are they're similar items. So either way, you'll get the job done, I guess. But definitely like it on him. Windrunner, though, probably the #1 hero you'll see it on. When I played Ancient Apparition a lot, that was one of my top picks for him as well. Just because, I liked having that kind of control. I could get in range for my slows and my stun. Definitely had a lot of uses. So, I don't know, any of those heroes are good.
Yeah, I mean, too, thinking Rikimaru, it's really good against him to push people out of the clouds. It's also really good against Nature's Prophet. You push people through the trees when he tries to sprout you. So, it really is dependent upon whether you need the initiation more than you need the ability to just move people in general, I think, the most. Boom. There you go.
Darkseer, #1.
Well, yeah.
Oh, Silencer. That's another good one. We haven't seen him in ages, but he needs the survivability help. So I think that's probably the main reason why it might be on him. But anyways, yeah. So there's some general questions or answers for you. That was actually a pretty solid question. Thank you, Donut. That's just your name now, so we'll deal with it. I don't mean any offense by that. So, anyways, we'll go to the next question from Swen, who asks, who is the best intelligence pusher, in your opinion? Go ahead.
I'm pretty fond of Leshrac, personally. I think he has an amazing ability to clear out creep waves, and Diabolic Edict is amazing for pushing on towers, and pushing on towers quickly. Yeah, I think that's pretty much a ton of AoE damage, and then he can just take stuff out quickly, and I think that's a really important part of push strategies. I mean, there is, of course, the usefulness of being able to keep up constant pressure on a tower, but it's also really nice when you can just surprise, all of a sudden I'm Leshrac here at your bottom lane killing a tower.
It's true. There's difference between like you said, consistent and burst tower killers. Like I would say Leshrac and Tiny with the Nagamons are like the burst ones, and Leshrac though especially. But this is where we come to fisticuffs, if you will. I wanted to pull out that like what is that, like a '60s term or something? It's the fisticuffs, sir. Yeah, I think Nature's Prophet hands down is the best intelligence pusher in the game. For multiple reasons. One, teleport. He can go anywhere on the map and help push that lane out on a very short cooldown. Two, the treants. Very good at taking hits from the tower. They don't do a ton of damage, but like I said, they absorb a lot of damage from the tower, so your lane mates can help you push it, and you can stay there longer whacking on the tower. His ultimate, good for just clearing out tons of creeps all over the map. I mean, it's not great for one lane pushing, but still, it's good to put pressure on a global perspective. And yeah, I don't actually have a good thing for his tree move. That's just not going to help too much. I guess if you're having trouble summoning treants near a tower, you can summon the trees first and then turn them into treants.
There you
have
go.
A magical surprise.
Yeah, I mean, I think I definitely agree that Nature's Prophet is an amazing pusher. They're both really good, and I think they both do it differently. Because I was thinking when I was saying, there are heroes that are better at being consistent pushers, which I think Nature's Prophet is more of. Good at putting on a lot of pressure and then keeping pressure up on one particular lane. So, yeah, I can agree to disagree. I think either are fantastic options. I think if someone was like, let's pick Nature's Prophet for pusher, I wouldn't be like, screw that, Leshrac, let's go.
No,
either way, it's a strong way to go.
It kind of brings me back. There was a game we played with our friends where we had Anti-Mage and Lich on the top lane, and they had solo Leshrac, and he destroyed them. He maxed out his Diabolic Edict and just killed the tower in like 7.5 minutes by himself, 2 versus 1. I mean, yes, that had to do with the Lich probably denying creeps and keeping the lane towards the tower, but he took full advantage of that, and he was one of the heroes that could do it extremely well because of how Diabolic Edict works. If no one's putting pressure on him, yeah, that's just all going towards the tower, and it does a ton of damage if the tower's the only thing getting hit. So I agree with you. Like, it's just a different kind of pushing power. That's all. So, yeah, I think that was a pretty good explanation there. So, not too bad of fistcuffs, no bloodshed.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Still got more questions to go, so it's like
I'm ready. Anyways, here we go down to question number. Oh god, I lost count. It's
okay.
Question number. This one.
It's a question regardless. What is the current meta involve? I would imagine that is a typo on your part, sir.
Nope. No, that's probably.
And maybe rephrase it.
Probably just a hard English translation, and I was just, it must have been the reader. That was what happened.
Yeah, totally. Not you at all. What does the current meta involve? I think might be a more accurate portrayal of the question by Legia.
Why not? Legolas.
Close. Yeah, ballparked it. Apologies.
That's okay.
But so, what do you think are kind of the major bullet points to hit?
Well, I'll just go over one in particular. I mean, it's kind of been up till really recently. It's been all about the push, like the mid-game push. And like having a team that's really good at getting in there, taking out towers, so you get that huge advantage, snowballing it into the mid game, and then hopefully having enough of an advantage where you can just take down a couple lanes here and there, win a team fight, get Roshan, and then finish the game off. But more recently, it's been shifting around so much, and that's one of the reasons I love Dota 2 so much compared to other MOBAs on the scene, is you see these changes in strategies all the time. Teams are so willing to adapt to what's needed out there. I remember in the beginning, Night Stalker was an auto-banner pick every game. He's not on the scene like hardly ever, and if he is, no one's scared of him. Like, no one fears Night Stalker during the day, right? So, that was actually pretty cool. So basically, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I like to pat myself on the back mid-talk sometimes. So you gotta keep yourself motivated. That's what I've learned.
Exactly.
But let me get back on track here. So yeah, I mean, I love how it changes around so much. And more recently, we're seeing heroes that I personally wouldn't have thought of to be included a lot. Like Ricky's used a heck of a lot more. You're seeing these carries kind of come back in, but it's not necessarily anti-mage. He is still used a lot, but he's not all the time. He's not auto-ban, auto-pick. That's just not the case anymore, which is wonderful. I remember so many weeks we would go by saying, oh, I can't wait for the day anti-mage is not in the first bans or picks, and the day has come. It is upon us, good sir.
There you go, yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be shifting a little bit more, too, now that Panda's in the mix, and he is looking so strong. I mean, he's getting through the bans, but he's dominant in the games he's a part of. So it's going to be really interesting to see how people try and deal with that with the current hero selection. But yeah, like you were saying, we started off with this really push-oriented thing. Somebody on Join Dota, I wish I could remember who it was now, this casting with Toby, had a really good way of describing it. He was like, yeah, it was the push strat. And the way to beat the push strat is with a ton of AoE. And the way to beat a ton of AoE with these agility carries, like anti-mage. So it's really neat to see it kind of go full circle. Now it's kind of shifting back towards the agility carry. We'll have to see where it goes from there. If people try and go for maybe more balanced teams between the push and having a carry, I mean, we'll just have to see how it turns out.
I forgot to mention, though, yeah, another big thing that's kind of happened, though, is now there's almost consistently one jungler in the game. Not on each team, but usually at least one in the game. And that's probably a large part due to Syllabear and Lycanthrope coming into the game, who are two really strong junglers. Lycanthrope not always used in the jungle, though. He's actually used in the lane pretty often as well. But, there's a lot more options coming into the game. And it's kind of like freeing up these other things, allowing these heroes to, I don't know, I guess, do what they want. And, like, you see Chen and Chantress are huge picks and bans now in the game. I would say you'd have to see them now. They're pretty much the auto-banner picks now. They've kind of become that just because these minions are used so effectively pushing in the early game. And like I said, I think it's a lot to do with that snowball effect, where if you can kill 1 or 2 towers in the first 15 minutes, that's global gold for your team that the other team doesn't have yet. And now you have that one next item that you can win your lane with, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually kind of curious. Phantom Lancer's looking really close to finish. He's had his model changed a couple times very recently. Or not his model, but his hero portrait. And you pointed out that actually on the Dota 2 website, he was featured in sort of the showing off of the inventory. So I'm wondering what kind of role he might actually be able to play when he comes into the game, because he is an agility carry who also has the ability to push with Juxtapose.
Yeah, I think we kind of lightly touched on this. I don't remember why, but you brought him up, and I said I thought he actually was a really strong pusher. Not as strong as other heroes, mind you, but as far as agility carries go, I think he's one of the top dogs, just because of his ultimate giving images of himself that will do damage, obviously, to towers if it's attacking them. Now, of course, you can't create these images by attacking the tower. You have to attack creeps or heroes first. But he can go to a jungle, make 5 copies of himself on a neutral creep or whatever, neutral spawn, or kill the creep wave before the tower, and then, yeah, all these things just beating on a tower, that's going to do some massive damage. And I think he's going to be, maybe not be picked up as much as I'd like him to be, but I think he could earn himself a spot in the picks and bans. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I have to imagine somebody will try to mess with them at some point. I mean,
the other great thing, the other great use about him is since he does get all his images that do gain effects such as mana burn if you do go for like a diffusal blade, which is I think the most common pick up on him, obviously for very obvious reasons. Against heroes like Panda, Anyone that has a really small mana pool but's getting used now, Lycanthrope, maybe Syllabear, I don't know. Heroes that might need their mana, but the point is, Family now creates all these images that have mana burn. Their mana gets destroyed, like probably faster than Anti-Mage can burn mana. Well, maybe not. That might be an overextension. But the point is, it's very high amounts of mana burn that is really effective. I think Panda's the #1 example. Like, if you can destroy his mana within a matter of like 15, 20 seconds, what's he going to do the rest of the fight? Like, he's a lot to do with his multiple abilities. His ultimate, his ground slam, shockwave, thunder shock. Shaka!
Yes.
Or his... that was an interesting looking game. I don't know. I just wanted to go for it. You can't blame me for that. But
I can.
Well, you could
I'll
blame
find a
me,
way.
but why would you? So anyways, don't answer that question. Or the Drunken Haze.
Thunderclap.
All very important moves for him. So, yeah, like I said, I think he will earn himself a spot, perhaps.
He will, maybe.
Okay, well, I'm never happy to guarantee anything on this cast because a lot of it bites me in the butt. Like when I talk about abilities that I don't actually know about.
There you go. What can you do?
But alas.
Moving on.
Shall we?
Yes. Next question. This is actually one of my favorites. Do you think some heroes are ridiculously overpowered against certain teams and combinations? By Cosio. What do you think, buddy?
I think you should answer this first.
Okay. Yes. The answer is yes. Absolutely. Some heroes are just really good against other heroes, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I don't see it as much in Dota, which is awesome, but in playing a lot of League of Legends and Heroes of North, you just come across people who are like, this hero is so broken, it's ridiculous. Because they can do this, this, and this, and that's stupid. Okay, so they're really good against what you're doing, which is what you're saying, or maybe the hero that you picked, but are they completely out of balance? I don't think so. I mean, you think about a hero like Enigma. Black Hole is such a huge change in the way the fight's going in that small area. It's so effective. But heroes like Beastmaster and Vengeful Spirit can interrupt that through BKB even. So there are ways to sort of balance it and work through it. I mean, you think about Dota, the board game, chess. Right? The only reason people don't complain about the queen being completely broken is because both teams have one. But what that unit can do versus what your pawns can do is ridiculous. But they both serve a very specific purpose, and they're both very good in certain situations. So it's kind of important to keep in mind that, yeah, some heroes are just going to be really good. Nature's Prophet is always going to be able to be knocking on your front door. He's always going to be able to keep pressure up. But that just means that you have to look for heroes that can either counter that or that can give you some other kind of advantage, or the superior hero in a different area.
Or you find the ban button and hit it really quickly. But
that's a good option, too.
I thought you were going to bring up Dota 2, the board game. I thought you were making a direct reference to it, and I was so excited. And then you went with chess, and I was just...
Well...
Although you did describe that the board game was similar to chess, so...
Did I? I just try to block that out as much as possible, actually.
It's unfortunate.
That whole thing.
Yeah, that's why the draft part is what gets me really interested. That's one of my most favorite parts of a game, is trying to see what their strategies are coming up with the bans and picks. Because a lot of teams don't have an answer for some of these heroes. And while there might be things that are decent against certain heroes, like you said, Nature's Prophet, there might be good things that clear out creep waves really quickly, or also almost just as mobile as him to keep up with it. But, there is no exact mirror of that hero, or exact counter. There is no anti-prophet, so, unfortunately. So, you gotta work with what you got. In that case, yeah, they're gonna just ban him out because they don't know what to do against him. And then now you gotta deal with these other heroes. So it's kind of like, I don't know, that's why my favorite part of that is just seeing what these heroes, or what these teams decide to do against the certain, like you said, kind of overpowered against certain combinations. And maybe make their own combination that stomps that one,
Mm-hmm. I think it's interesting. I wanted to write an article about this, actually. I did. And I just didn't have a place to put it before, actually. But now we have this wonderful partnership with Dota Talk. I'm actually going to be writing some articles and blogs and doing wonderful research as soon as I get time off. And post it up there. And so hopefully I'll be able to get something on this subject up, actually. But Toby1 a while ago was like, yeah, Nature's Prophet is the strongest hero in the game. Dare I say overpowered. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, he is very good at pushing, and that is it. Sprout is very easy to beat. You just have tangos. 90 gold gets you out of Sprout 3 times.
Yep.
You can have Hatchet, which will also get you out. You can have Force Staff, as we mentioned earlier, which can get you out. So I think it's just important to keep in mind that maybe what that hero is overpowered against what you're running, what hero you chose, but there's definitely a way to answer it 9 times out of 10. If not, then you hit the ban button.
Exactly. And actually, especially, I mean, now we're going Nature's Prophet. I think Queen of Pain dominates Nature's Prophet in so many ways. She's just a very strong hero in general. What I love most about her is how mobile and high burst she is. You know, that is a deadly combination when you're talking about intelligence nuker. Obviously, the blinking it, I mean, like one-on-one, obviously Nature's Prophet wouldn't really stand a chance because she can just dart around all day and has more damage straight up. But you know, I think and you actually do see her picked up in a lot of games recently. A lot of games. Just for a lot of the reasons we mentioned already. But, you know, I think she's like a great example of what you can try to run against a hero like that. Just, you know, finding these other heroes that not necessarily picked up as much before, but now, oh, maybe they actually will work a lot in this lineup with this kind of thing. So, actually, you know, speaking of heroes that kind of dropped off, though, what happened to Vitamancer? When's the last time you saw one of them?
Here and there.
I haven't seen him in a while.
It's not that uncommon.
I guess, but he still seems like a very strong, effective in this, you know, current meta.
He is. He's one of those heroes. I mean, I think like Crystal Maiden, who just kind of is in and out, but always very strong. So yeah, just I think generally speaking, really there are very few lineups where he isn't potentially a good pickup. But you know, I think at the end of the day, Dota is really a game about specialist heroes, as opposed to we're going to talk about this in further questions, but League of Legends, like one of the problems I always have with it is it seems like a lot of the heroes, they have like a stun, a slow, and then a nuke, and then whatever their ulti does. A lot of them feel like they have kits that are designed to be okay at least a little bit of everything. They have some kind of something to throw out. It's not just when we're talking about Queen of Pain, right? She has a slow, but then other than that, it's mobility and damage, right? So I think it's important to remember that it's a game of specialist heroes and that they each have their own areas of strength.
Yeah, they feel very unique. That's a big difference. Like, even the auto attack heroes are unique. Like, and that's a hard thing to do, because how do you make these heroes that are supposed to specialize in auto attacks make their other abilities not like broken to the point where if they are really good too, then this hero is never going to lose. But at the same time, you have to make them interesting, and I think they've done just a fantastic job. Well, Dota 1 at the start, but you know what I mean. The point is, these, like Dota in general, has just done a great job with making all these very unique, very different kits. Like, barely any overlap at all, which is just terrific. So, yeah. Except for maybe a couple Stormbolt stuns of similar things, but what are you going to do, right?
The cask stun?
No. That should
Overpowered.
never exist in any game. That was the one mistake they made this game. That was literally the one mistake. If they did without that, perfect. Flawless.
Yeah. That's the only one that's just too overpowered, right?
It's
okay.
It's
okay. You want to introduce this next little question, buddy?
I do. Thanks, Kosir, for that question.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm the nice guy, don't worry. So
sorry.
Let's go on down to Leah, who asks, do you think deniable creeps are a good thing? I guess that's referring to, you know, for gameplay in the MOBA scene in general, and obviously specifically Dota 2. What are your thoughts on that?
Love it to death. This is gonna sound this whole later section is gonna sound a lot like lol bashing, so I have to disclaimer. It's a fine game and everything. I happen to prefer Dota, but you know, to each his own, right?
Exactly.
So I really like creep denying because in playing the classic mode of League of Legends as a support hero, especially, there's not much else to do. I mean, you just harass basically, and that's all there is. I think creep denying is just a really dynamic part of the game and just sort of giving the support some added value. I think the other thing that's really important too is when you consider League of Legends, there really aren't ways of holding down enemy heroes. To me, League of Legends is a game about gains, and Dota and HANA too are games of losses. Right. It's about being able to take things away from the other team And the fact that you can't deny in League of Legends is sort of why you have it. Okay, well, I have to be the AD in the bottom lane, right? I have to try and get all these creep kills, and it's not worthwhile for me doing anything else because if I try and leave, I'm giving up a risk. I'm risking something that doesn't have that much of a gain, and there's no way to sort of hold back the other AD carry if they do get more creep kills than you, for instance.
Well, and this actually, like I've been saying all along, I watch, just in general, esports. I watch League of Legends, I watch Dota 2, I watch all the competitive scenes. And what I've really picked up from the League of Legends one in particular is that it's so different in the ability, just in like tower pushing alone, which is the saddest part for me. Basically, what happens if a lane, let's say, double kills the other lane, and now they just have their creep wave, they do not attack the tower at all. They let the creeps die to the tower, and so they deny experience. That's how they deny experience in their game, by letting the creeps die to the tower so that the other ones are missing out on it, I guess. But they don't push. In fact, if they push a tower, they are now at almost a disadvantage because the lane is so pushed up now that they would be at too much of a risk to farm the lane. So it's just such a stark difference from Dota 2, where you see a lot of teams pushing towers in like 6 minutes. And they might even go for a tier 2 tower at like 10 minutes. And like they just want to, like, it just seems like passive versus aggressive right there. You know what I mean? That's the whole argument on denying creeps. It's the same thing. Passive versus aggressive. Like, if all you're doing is like thinking about getting your last hits on kills and not even have to worry about where the lane control is, like there's so much more thinking, I think, to it from Dota 2 perspective. And it also, the other great thing I like about it, sorry for talking so long, is it kind of almost gives the supports more functionality in the laning phase just because they have more to do than just harass or heal or whatever.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's what I was saying earlier. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic as a support player because, like, it's just added value. The other thing too to keep in mind is it's not just creeps that are deniable in Han and Dota. It's towers and heroes,
True.
and those things make the game more dynamic as well because denying isn't simply the decrease in the gold or experience. It's also, when you talk about towers, is it worth giving the team gold right now, or can we wait and maybe slow down their getting invited? We're like, okay, that guy's really close to mech. Maybe we shouldn't deny the tower just this second. Let's wait a little bit. Maybe we can get a team engagement before we can finish that item. Or I think we really need to be able to get that position. We need to have that point to TP to. So let's leave it up and risk maybe giving the other team more gold. And when it comes to denying heroes, I'm a noob, and I know I've definitely attacked a hero when he had something that allowed me to deny him, and then it didn't kill him, and I'm like, oh crap, well now he's definitely going to die, so you have to attack him again. So, it's just another dynamic thing to add to the game, and I think gives you more to think about and introduces some new variables as well.
Yeah, I mean, we could honestly have probably a whole episode dedicated to the differences and what we like about both and not like about both, but another huge factor is, like you were talking about a little bit, is the teleporting to towers to defend them, to do ganks up ganks. Like, the amount of mobility in Dota is amazingly higher, just in the ability to teleport anywhere or to any tower, than that. Like, I think that allows more aggressive gameplay as well. It just adds more factors like, oh, now we can actually we can teleport across the map and help defend this 3-man push. Where in League of Legends, you have to run all the way down or have a summoner be teleport, and then that wastes your damage or it nerfs you in other ways. So yeah, I love how easy it is for people to move around the map in that game too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I kind of started to say earlier, I just want to kind of complete the thought. The other nice thing about denying, too, is you can slow down the other team, and it's not just in the gold, it's also in the experience. So, heroes like Nature's Prophet, whose ulti is so good, if he's in the lane, if you're denying creeps, you're stopping that ultimate from being useful for longer. You're giving your team more time, and especially against heroes like Tidehunter, etc., the ones with really strong ultimates that can be huge, and it shouldn't be that you feel like you just have to do more, that you specifically have to do more, you have to get more items, you have to get more farm. It should be something when you're fighting against another team that you're doing something to them to stop them from doing the best they can.
I bet there's one place you would not like denying very much.
Where?
At a bar. Hey-o! That was
There
my
you go.
stupid witty comment that I tried to fit in.
It's terrible.
No, but
I
it
hate
was
you
pretty
for it.
good. That was like a 40% mischance right there.
Great. Next question. Thank you for that one. I actually really like that one as well.
Yeah, that was nice.
Morgan actually is going to give us another. These last couple questions are actually all kind of relatable to the old League of Legends. And this question is how... Oh, no, it's not. Is there a blind mode where there are no bans and anyone can pick any champion?
I kind of reworded a couple of them because they ran on or were broken English, and mine
Paraphrase.
is so much better that, as you can see. I'll answer this first. So,
Good.
no. Not exactly. There isn't one. Essentially, there is no blind mode in general right now in Dota 2. I'm not sure if they plan on implementing it down the road, but in League of Legends there is. It's called blind pick. So essentially, you don't see anyone there picking. It's just a set countdown timer, and you can pick whatever hero you own or have in that game. And then the other team, you can both pick the same hero on each side. So you could have two of the same hero in the game, just not on the same team. And there actually is a similarity there in Dota 1. It's called Mirror Match, or there might be another mode, but there's a couple different gameplay modes you can turn on in Dota 1 that allow you to do similar things. Like I said, like you can have multiple of the same hero, things like that. But as far as like blind pick goes, I haven't heard of that, and I'm not sure if they want to go that road. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think it should be put in there?
No, I don't at all, actually. The only situation that I can think is a really good description of League of Legends is I actually think Malphite is one of the better heroes, just as far as design goes and as far as being interesting, in League of Legends. I love Malphite. He's really good against enemy carries, the auto attackers, really good at picking up armor and uses that as a source of damage.
He picks that armor up so well.
He just grabs it both hands, carries it everywhere. But the problem is when you get into things like blind pick, what happens if the entire enemy team doesn't pick up any auto attackers? You can still do things, but now you're less valuable as a hero. And what happens if you pick up Enigma in Dota 2, and the other team happen to pick up Vengeful Spirit and Beastmaster? Yeah, I mean, you can use your ult and pray, but 9 times out of 10, it's going to be interrupted before it's finished. And so I think it's not really good because you can wind up getting into a game where right off the bat you're like, this was a terrible decision. Why did I pick this guy? And I think it could maybe stop people from picking heroes that have sort of niches like that, or those counters in popular heroes. You know what I mean?
Well, what if either Rage Squid or whatever that guy that was giving us that question about Ursa before? What if he wanted to pick Ursa in the game, and now it's not blind pick? So if you pick Ursa, the other team's like, oh, he's choosing Ursa. I'm going to pick a stun and slow because I listened to Dota on Demand and they told me that's going to counter it very hard. Well, now he's screwed. So what if all the Ursa players out there want to get in on it? You know, this is going to hurt them a lot. I'm just saying. You're not thinking about the whole player base here.
Well, the thing is, what I do like about Dota is that it encourages you to realize that those types of relationships exist. I mean, this is a game. You should have fun. You should be able to pick whoever you want, but it is a strategy game. And so you should have to be aware that these relationships exist, and you should be aware that if you immediately pick Enigma going into an all-pick game, then there's the possibility for people picking up Vengeful Spirit or Beastmaster. And I think not being able to play with those types of relationships being visible can allow you to sort of just blame the game on other things. I don't know. I think you should really be thinking about those types of things when you're picking your hero and not just going, I'm picking this guy. Good luck.
Oh, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Like Anti-Mage was before, essentially. Like, oh, Anti-Mage, let's just quit out of the game now. It's over. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, what do you think? Do you think it's worth having, or?
If it wasn't too much work, I'd say put it in there for those people. But no, I mean, honestly, all pick is fine for me. You know, as long as people actually choose their heroes and don't wait till the creeps already spawned. Like some people we know, unfortunately.
It happens.
But it does. It really does. But I also do like the option though of choosing the same hero on both teams. I think that could make for some interesting lineup and matchups. Like, I don't know, having two ancient apparitions. There's crazier comments than that I'm just really not. I'm blanking on. But the point is, you could have some cool stuff. Two Sand Kings, two Enigmas, two. Imagine the world that we would live in if that could happen.
I guess, but I think that kind of sort of devalues the hero to a certain degree too. I mean,
It does. I agree.
I think there's like, especially with those kind of abilities, they're just such big game-changing things that having multiples of them, I mean, maybe it's just a matter of preference, but I'm not a fan of.
Well, fistcuffs it is then. At dawn. Pistols? Pistol fistcuffs?
We just whack each other with the handle grips.
I think it
there
would
you
still
go.
do enough damage that,
Pistol whip, yeah.
dang, son.
There you go.
Well, anyways, thanks, Morgan. It is a guy, by the way, which I would have
Yeah.
thought by the name, no offense, was a female name. But then again,
I've known some male Morgans.
you've what? Oh,
I've known some
no.
male
I
Morgans.
thought you said you've done. Okay.
Captain Morgan.
He is a wise sir. Although he makes
There
you
you go.
forget a lot. which is
Drink
unfortunate.
responsibly, kids.
Not adults, though. Drink as much as you want. So, let's go into one of our final questions. Maybe the final question, actually. And this one, it's not from both of them at the same time, but their questions were pretty similar, so we want to just give them both credit for it because they both kind of had similar ideas. But basically, Benson and Kenneth wanted to know, how will Dota 2 innovate itself in the future to surpass its competition? I know you had some thoughts.
Are you right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think this is actually kind of a really good opportunity to be able to actually compare and contrast, Han, Dota, and League of Legends, and even the companies too that are putting them out as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dota 2, because it's being put out by Valve, I think that company is really aware of how powerful the community is, and they're going to really be doing a lot to bring people in as much as possible, get people involved in the creation of the game, and when it actually finally comes out, and kind of the goings on in the day-to-day experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's gonna bring out a lot, and that's like another reason why I'm just so excited for this to be released. Which TBD, that's funny. How many questions did we get about when is Dota 2 gonna be free to play or be released? And it's like, I really, really wish I worked for Valve. Trust me, I do. But unfortunately, not the case. So those kind of questions were not going to get you a winning chance in this contest, believe it or not. Trust me, I really do wish we knew the answer to that. And if we did, we wouldn't be the ones telling you, because that means it would be common knowledge by then. So, but yeah, when that does come out, it's going to be fantastic to see how they go about doing things. And actually, I do remember now, there was an interview with, it was some high executive in Valve. And they were talking about the game being free to play, and they were asking about it. He did release that it was in fact going to be free to play, but with some twists. That's how he worded it. Did you read that article or that interview a little bit?
No, but I remember this.
Yeah, exactly. This whole
situation.
the situation. So basically, yeah, I mean, he was saying it's going to be free to play, but there was going to be ways for people to spend money in order to both enhance, like, similar to, like, I guess League of Legends in the sense that you will be able to get visual, pay for, like, visual aids, like different skins, how items might be look. I'm not exactly sure. And then they also said they wanted to be able to, how did he word it? It was like, if you wanted to, you could separate yourself from the rest of the community by, like, showing that you're a contributing person to the company, like, maybe, I don't know if you remember in Han, but like if you were one of the people that prepaid that $50, you got, like, I think it was like a blue star next to your name or something, like things like that, like cosmetic features, if you will, to just the game in general. So nothing that's going to give you an advantage in the game, because obviously that'd be really stupid. Why would you let someone have an advantage just because they paid money? No, that wouldn't be a great game at all. But no, like, just to show outside of it that you're willing to spend this money because you really believe in how the company's doing, how they're doing things, and you want to support them, and they're gonna in turn, give you back these cool, neat little perks here and there.
Yeah, actually, Dota Talk had some data mined images of alternate courier models. And so you imagine that might be something that winds up getting sold, some of these cosmetic things.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that's sort of one of the things that I have faith in Valve to realize how powerful the consumer is in the free-to-play business model. Because you think about it, you get full functionality of the game. Everybody in the world could play your game, and you could go bankrupt if that's the only thing you have. Because it's not the playing of the game that gets you anything. It's all the extras, the cosmetic stuff. And so that's one reason I am not fond of Riot, because they made a lot of promises a while ago as far as the replay system and spectator mode, and it took them so long to get it out. And it's if that's cool if you like that game, but if I were you, I would be on the forums. I'd be like, this is dumb. You guys said a really long time ago that we were supposed to get this, this, and this, and you haven't done it. So I'm going to boycott buying your skins so that you can do this to make the game and bring it up to par. I mean, you look at how their spectator mode is compared to how Dota 2 in beta is, with graphs and all this awesome funky stuff, making it a lot easier to watch other people play and get in to sort of the spectator aspect of the game. I think you should really be able to, as a consumer, be able to demand things from these companies, because you can go just fine boycotting for 2 months and be able to play the game just fine.
Well, the trouble with that, of course, is getting enough people on board to make a difference. Like, they have millions of subscribers, or people with accounts, so maybe even if 1,000 of you boycott, that's still 999,000 people paying for stuff every week. I know what you're saying. You gotta make a stand at some point, but it will be harder, especially in like I said, how much reach that game has. That to make a huge difference or impact on them. And they actually admitted early on they made a lot of mistakes with it. Like, for example, they made announcements about things way too early, and when they were just in the alpha stages or just even being thought of, because they were just excited to get some things out to the public. But then they started working on it and realizing it wasn't going to work out for them. And so, of course, they had to start putting out the fires, and that's when everyone started getting real upset. And that was probably a problem. Like you were saying, don't make promises you can't keep, because that's going to start turning people off really fast. And so I think Valve's going to learn from other people's mistakes as well. And I mean, you were going into about how they have to figure out how to really get a great, efficient impact from this free-to-play model. Well, they've done just that with Team Fortress 2. That is I think that was the first starting of free-to-play stuff. Well, maybe not the first, but you know what I mean. It was one of the pioneers, certainly. And that game, before they went with the free-to-play model, it was pretty popular. But it wasn't anything extravagant by any means. And then they decided, hey, let's make this free-to-play, but let's put these little hats in there. Let's just see what happens if... Do people like hats on their Scout, on their Bazooka Joe guy? I don't know. Let's find out. Oh my god, did it blow up. I can't even fathom how much money they've made off hats alone in that game. And just because, and it used to, I think it started out costing about $20, $25, or that's what it got reduced down to for the game, and then they're now it's free, but the hats themselves might cost, what, $5, $10 each? How much are you making off each person? That's just what it's all about.
Yeah, I think because of that experiment with Team Fortress 2, and then watching the other things, like watching Han just crumble because it was charging that flat amount, and then trying to switch to free-to-play, and then League of Legends' just ability to get a really big community base because of it being free-to-play and very easy to approach. I think they're really going to be able to do things like you were saying to get the community involved. Like I was mentioning before, I think it'd be really awesome. You have people in League of Legends who make skins that can only be applied to your own client. So other people don't see the skins, but you can make it so that your game shows you that skin. And you have people that make skins all the time and make 10, 20 skins, and a lot of them are really, really good, and people will download them for free. What if you tie that in to the Dota 2 shop somehow? Now you don't even need as many artists because you have people putting things out, and if you reward them for this, not only are you reducing the amount of money that you have to spend to put out these new alternate skins, you're sort of hooking people into being a consistent part of the community, and it's that longevity that's really going to make money. And I think that's also just going to help push Valve and push Dota 2 being really, really strong compared to the other MOBAs.
Absolutely. So I think they've got plenty of, like I say, experience and things to study and learn from, and I think they're going to just find new ways to wow us. And I did give them the idea for free about the dungeon crawl map. They can have that one on the house, if you will. But yeah, I mean, like just any kind of thing like that. Just go a whole different direction and catch people off guard. I'm sure people will just love that kind of stuff. But I mean, you don't have to go too far, because obviously the reason people are playing in the first place is because they like MOBAs. They like Dota 2. So you don't have to go the whole different direction. You don't have to make like an RPG. But, like I said, I think they've got plenty of ways where they're going to definitely give us a good surprise, and it'll be awesome to be a part of.
Definitely. I think there's also a lot to be said for sort of the spectator aspect. I mean, we've already said Valve's doing a really good job as far as organizing tournaments and putting up cash money, and their spectator mode is already fantastic. I mean, there's still a lot you can do with that, and I think it's going to be a big part of it. It's really, I think at the end of the day, to really make a game super successful is to really engage the community and do as much as you can for the community. I mean, like I was thinking earlier, I was telling you, I think it'd be awesome if, how sometimes commentators miss First Bloods and stuff, if you had a sort of picture-in-picture directed camera view. So if somebody goes to 15%, now in the corner of the commentator screen, he sees this hero dropping to low health. And so he can either click to that real quick and it'll take you right to that action, or you'll just have it in the corner so you can see exactly what happens and see how they die to him if you think there's something else more important going on. Stuff like this, I think, would actually really push the game in a really positive direction as far as the competitive scene. And you bring money to something, people will come.
I mean, this is just a whole another kind of getting off topic a little bit, but still the esports in general is just booming. This is just starting on the cusp of it, and it is growing at a phenomenal rate. That's why you see tournaments now for 5 million cash prize pools. Like League of Legends announced their 5 million Season 2 championship that's going to be taking place this year. The money is just flowing. You can tell how much popularity it's getting, and it's only been growing more and more. So yeah, the more these games embrace the esport culture and make it easier for it to be not only shared among viewers that want to watch it, but allow for people like us, but more also like Toby, anyone that's starting out, wanting to get into casting, wanting to do spectating, that kind of thing. Make it easy for them to get the message out there, because all they're really doing is helping them sell their own product. You know what I mean? That's all they're doing. It's free marketing at that point. So I mean, the more they can just get the word out there, help the game expand and grow, obviously is going to be a great thing for them to do. So
yeah, I mean, here's the other thing too. I mean, you and I, when we started these shenanigans every week, we actually wanted to get into casting League of Legends. We wanted to watch replays. We wanted to be able to engage the game at that level, but it was not possible. You had to use a third-party system to try and get any kind of replays. And so I think that's just another example of how, we really wanted to be able to do something with that game. We wanted to be able to engage it, and we just weren't able to. And I think Valve is really going to be able to make this game accessible to a lot of people on multiple levels, and I think that's really going to be important at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, they've got a lot of connections. They got a lot of, Stokes in the fire or something? Is that is that it? Not Stokes.
They're stoking the fire, and then there are irons in the fire.
Is it Tokes?
And those are
No, not Tokes. Tokes is what you do with something else that's medicinal sometimes. Come on, dude, get the reference. Okay.
No, I do.
Oh, okay. I mean, 420 was just a couple weeks ago, so
there you go.
There's our 420 reference. You're welcome.
Fantastic. We work a little bit of everything in every week, and there we go.
We were getting too serious for a while there. Had to break it up a little bit.
Oh,
we just were so passionate about esports that, dude. Speaking of which, we hope to be getting casting in soon. I would love to get back into that when we get some free time on our hands. Hopefully, in the near future.
We have stuff in the pipeline, people. It's just the time
when it becomes is getting clogged, and we need to buy a new pipe to put on the side of this pipe.
We have a line of pipes in our pipeline, pipes everywhere.
Have you ever played Pipe Dream?
No.
Well, then you wouldn't know the reference.
I imagine it was.
It was similar to having pipes. You involved pipes,
Mm.
and a wrench. And
really?
there was sewage that was flowing from one side of the screen. It had to go to the other. And you had to use these different shaped pipes to get it there.
Fantastic.
Great, I know. I just that's Jay's video game segment of the day.
There you go. Well, I guess that's it. I guess we'll leave. No beta key. Bye. I guess we actually should probably give out the beta key.
I guess so, since people actually followed instructions. That was
Yeah.
okay.
So here's how we did it. We picked our favorite questions, a group of them, and then we did a random inside of that. So it wasn't just us playing favorites.
Right.
There was actually some kind of randomness involved. So how about you go ahead and you know,
Let's get a drum
forward it.
roll. That you look like a chipmunk over there.
Excessive.
Okay.
I was going crazy over
You
here.
were whoa.
Excited.
Anyways, congratulations to Leah with her deniable creep question, which became a lot more than just deniable creeps. But it was a great job nonetheless. We loved answering it. But thanks to all of you for the questions. There were some really good ones that we got some good thinking about, some good discussion about. We really do appreciate it, and we hope that everyone who's listening continues to keep throwing these questions at us, because we love to answer them. We love to get these things. We don't usually want to spend a whole episode on them, but it worked out in this case. And I mean, if you guys are that passionate about it, then by all means, throw them our way. Just don't ask the question like, how do I get a beta key? I'll tell you right now, we do not really have that answer for you, unfortunately. And if we did, probably not going to share it with you regardless, because we're evil and greedy like that a little bit, just a little bit.
I'm not evil and greedy. I will tell you that we will have stuff in the future to give away more beta keys, so please stay tuned. Keep watching, and hopefully we can continue to give you some more precious keys in the future.
Jingling-a-ling.
Alrighty, well, I think that's it for us this week, everybody. Thanks for tuning in again. Please check us out next week and join us in the RC. Come by and like in the Facebook and asking the questions. We really appreciate it. See you all, same bat time, same bat place.